Yeah. Analytics off the chain, other channels not the same. Jake and Kyle, you know the name. Headliner Nation, we running the game. I'm a headliner.
Yo, what is up, Headliner Nation? Welcome back into the Fantasy Headliners, and I have got my tight end start and sit analysis for you for week 12. A great week because it is Thanksgiving week, so we get some extra football on Turkey Day. We get to stuff ourselves full of stuffing and meats and deliciousness and pies, and who doesn't love Thanksgiving Day? But hey, we got to jump into all the action. We've got a lot of videos. We got to get everything out to you by Thursday morning. So just a reminder, these start and sit videos are coming out a little bit sooner than what we are normal to, and we're recording sooner than what we're normal to. Actually, the wide receiver and tight end videos I recorded even before Monday Night Football. Why? Because we're trying to get everything out to you before kickoff on Thursday, since we've got 3 games instead of just 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, if anything has happened in the last few hours, okay, it may not pop up in this video, especially for the Monday Night Football action. That is why it is so important that you watch the rankings episodes on Wednesday, because anything that has happened, because we're recording so earlier in the week, will be updated over there. It is pivotal. I mean, every week it's important for you to watch both videos, but this week it's extra important that you watch that rankings video. Let's talk about our accuracy from last week real quick. Last week at the tight end position, ladies and gentlemen, up and over 80%, coming in at 81%. This is before Monday Night Football, though. Again, so this number could go a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, but coming in at 81%. Love to see it. Going over 80% any week at any position is awesome. We did really well last week. Really glad with our results for what was another crazy week. But hey, Thanksgiving Day also means that you've got a chance to save some money on some goods. And if you're one of those people that like to get a little shopping out of the way, make sure you pre-order the Fantasy Headliners 2022 NFL Draft Guide. That's right. It's available for pre-order with a substantial discount. You can click on the link down in the description below. Get your draft guide now, ladies and gentlemen. You're going to be getting it for about 50% off if you go ahead and order right now. So make sure that you get that done out of the way, and then you'll be ready to dominate as soon as our draft guide releases in July. But now it is time to roll. We got to talk about all the starts and sit this week. Let's hop right into it. Chicago at Detroit, and this is a matchup that, as of right now, I'm going to go with Cole Kmet as a sit. Now, it does sound like Andy Dalton will be the starter on Thursday for the Chicago Bears. Some news came just a little bit ago, right before I recorded this video, stating that it sounded like he would be starting. So Cole Kmet, I'm putting him down as a sit. The vibe just isn't there with Dalton and Kmet the way that it is with Justin Fields. Even at the beginning of the season, Cole Kmet wasn't getting any looks by Andy Dalton before Dalton went down with his injury and Justin Fields took over. So for me, Cole Kmet, I got to move away from him right now because Dalton's just not looking his way. For the Detroit Lions, I mean, TJ Hockenson, 100%, he's the star. 8 targets, led the way last week. I know a lot of you were really worried about him. I tried to tell you to still go with him. Not the best of performances last week, but, you know, a lot better than a lot of other tight ends will do. So we got to really get him going. The efficiency will be there. We know the targets are going to be there. Hopefully the production matches it this week. Las Vegas at Dallas is going to bring my Manscaped must-watch matchup of the week. Our friends over at Manscaped are sponsoring us again this year. And if you're looking for a gift for that special someone in your life, make sure you head over to manscaped.com. Put a bunch of stuff in your cart. Just throw it all in there. And use code word headliners at checkout. 20% off your entire order and free shipping. So, My Manscaped must-watch matchup is going to bring together a couple of the better tight end starts in the league. Darren Waller, he's going to be a start for me. We need to start getting him 10 targets a week again, Las Vegas. Vegas, you got to get it going, baby. You got to get Darren Waller rolling on a constant basis. Yes, he looked a lot better last week, but let's get that week from Darren Waller every single week. And what will probably be a really good game with Dallas, where Las Vegas is going to have to throw it quite a bit. Hunter Renfrow really being the only option to take away right now. Darren Waller should be getting that many targets. And for Dallas, for Dalton Schultz, I'm locking him in as a start this week. Why? Because Las Vegas allows the third most fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. Not only that, but Schultz is in a smash position this week. There are going to be extra targets available with no Amari Cooper and no CeeDee Lamb. Expect a huge game from Dalton Schultz this week. Buffalo at New Orleans, and Buffalo's Dawson Knox, he looks healthy again, and that is great to see. One of the reasons I was just being super cautious with him last week is because I didn't know how that hand was feeling after really the first week back, second week being last week. Now we're into the third week, but he looked fully healthy. And again, all those targets he gets, they used to belong to Cole Beasley. Doesn't matter anymore. Dawson Knox gets those targets. For New Orleans, Nick Vannett is going to be a sit. Adam Troutman being diagnosed just a couple of hours ago with a sprained MCL that's going to keep him out 4 to 6 weeks. Nick Vannett's going to be the starting tight end moving forward, but not enough to actually start him in our lineups. Pittsburgh's Pat Freiermuth is still performing well, even with Eric Ebron back, even with Eric Ebron scoring a touchdown last week. He's still getting targets. He's still scoring. Pat Freiermuth is still a start for us. He's got 16 targets over the last 2 weeks. So even with Eric Ebron being back, it doesn't matter. He is still producing. He is still a start for us, especially going up against Cincinnati. For CJ Uzomah, we're gonna skip on CJ Who's Your Mama this week. Pittsburgh only allows 11 fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends, and CJ Who's Your Mama hasn't really done anything in the last few weeks, and this is not really a matchup that I would trust. Tampa Bay and Indianapolis, again, Monday Night Football hasn't happened yet, but it sounds like Rob Gronkowski is 100% healthy and ready to get going again. As long as he had no setbacks, he was going to play in Monday Night Football, so he's going to be a start again for me moving forward. And if he does go and he's a go on Monday Night Football, then he's a go next week as well, and we'll talk about it more in the rankings if anything changes. And for Indianapolis, Jack Mother and Doyle, Mo Alley Cox, neither of them are doing anything right now, so it doesn't really matter in this matchup either. You know, some of the upside that we've seen with Mike Gesicki recently is starting to disappear a little bit, but hopefully in this matchup with Carolina, it starts to come back. On Carolina's side of the ball, hasn't really been doing anything as of late. None of the tight ends there are worth starting. For Mike Gesicki, though, we got to get him bounced back. We've seen some of that upside that we saw at the beginning of the year disappear a little bit, but the targets are still there. He's 4th in targets in the NFL right now. You've got to still play him if you own him, unless you own one of the big tight ends that are really performing well right now. Mike Gesicki is the guy that we're throwing in our lineup because the opportunity continues to be there. Tennessee and New England, is it Jonnu Smith revenge game? Probably not. I would like to think so, but I'm not really going to buy into it. He hasn't really done anything all season. And, is it really a revenge game? It's not like he left on bad terms or anything. So, for Tennessee, Anthony Firkser, Jeff Swaim has not cleared the concussion protocol as of this recording. So, because of that, can't put him as a start. And I would like to put Anthony Firkser as a start because, honestly, he's in a position where they're dealing with a lot of injuries at wide receiver right now. Now you've got Jeff Swaim out, so he's going to have the tight end snaps to himself. But this is a New England team that really has just kept tight ends of all kinds down all season long. They allow the fewest fantasy points per game. Even with 7 targets last year, I can't trust Firkser this week. And then on the other side of the ball, I'd like to list Jonnu Smith as a start because, revenge game, who knows? I'm not falling for that, though. Hunter Henry's been the guy. He didn't do much last week. He still leads the league in touchdowns, though. Expect him to get involved again this week. Philadelphia at the New York Giants. And for Philadelphia, Dallas Goedert. It's going to be a tough matchup for him. New York has been tough on tight ends the last 4 weeks, but Goedert continues to lead the team in targets on a weekly basis. Again, opportunity. Opportunity is there with some of these tight ends. They're being inconsistent. And outside of the big tight ends, They're all going to be inconsistent at times, but if they're getting targets, you got to continue to chase the targets at the tight end position. And then for the other side of the football, Evan Ingram, he's going to be a start for me this week as well. Philadelphia allows the most fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends, so definitely look to see Evan Ingram involved this week. Atlanta at Jacksonville, and Kyle Pitts at tight end will continue to be a start. Jacksonville's been, kind of mediocre against tight ends. Maybe some decent performances, some bad. Nothing crazy, though. But really, it's a revolving door for them at the nickel cornerback position. And that's, whatever quarterback is going to be playing on the wide receiver in the slot, which is where Kyle Pitts has the most of his most snaps this year. So he's really playing out in the slot more than anywhere else. And because of that, I think they're going to have some issues covering Kyle Pitts because they really haven't had anybody that's been consistent there for the entire season. For Jacksonville, Dan Arnold, we're going to go back to a start. Even though he put up them big zeros last week, those big zeros, he is the safest option on this team, so I expect them to need him going this week so they can potentially get the win in Atlanta. The New York Jets in Houston, and for both of these teams, there's nobody to play. For the Los Angeles Chargers, the tight end position, Donald Parham's dropping passes, Jared Cook's dropping passes. Those guys are just playing like garbage right now, so I'm not starting any of those guys. But for the Denver Broncos, we are actually going to list Noah Fant and Albert Are You Okay this week because the Los Angeles Chargers allow the second most fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. And what will be a really, really tough matchup on the outsides for Jerry Jeudy, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton. They're going to have to look towards their tight ends this week to really get going and move the ball consistently down the field. I don't love Noah Fant, but in this matchup, if you've got him, I think you could potentially roll him out for one more week before things start to get bad for him again. Him and Albert, Are You Okay? They're splitting snaps right now. They're splitting targets. Neither of these guys are outperforming the other, but both of them have the opportunity to score this week. The LA Rams at the Green Bay Packers, and for Los Angeles, Tyler Higbee, he's going to be a sit. There's too many weapons on this team right now. They're not focused on Tyler Higbee. You've got Odell Beckham Jr. with another week. Van Jefferson's kind of that guy. We know Cooper Kupp is going to be the dude. So for Tyler Higbee, not trusting him. Yes, he was close to a touchdown a couple. That doesn't matter. Okay, that doesn't matter. For Green Bay, Mercedes Lewis, boop, get him out. For Minnesota at San Francisco, same thing I said with Minnesota, right? Last week, Tyler Conklin wasn't feeling the start. Why? Because I thought it was Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen week with a lot of Dalvin Cook mixed in. That's exactly what happened, and I expect it to be the same thing this week against San Francisco with JJ and AT really going off, DC getting his work, and Tyler Conklin not getting nearly enough left over to be considered a start. But for San Francisco, we're starting George Kittle. Why? Because that dude is flowing better than his hair right now. He's feeling it. He's really zoned in. He looks like the George Kittle of old, and that is a guy that I want in my lineup every single week. Cleveland at Baltimore, and surprise, Austin Hooper will be a start for me this week. Going to see some tough matchups for the wide receivers. Austin Hooper has been looked at a little bit more consistently the last couple of weeks. I think maybe a banged up Baker Mayfield is trying to look towards Austin Hooper a little bit more right now. And because of that, he's seeing a little bit more targets. I saw like 7 targets last week. So I definitely think a Baltimore team that has had troubles at points this offseason, or this season, stopping tight ends, could end up finding Austin Hooper running into the end zone at some point this week. And for Mark Andrews, boom, he's a start, tight end 2 on the season. We're running with him no matter what. Seattle at Washington. Not much to talk about on this Seattle side. Not going to go with Gerald Everett or Will Dissly this week. But this week for Washington is the return, hopefully, of Logan Thomas. As of right now, he is expected to play, practice, and be activated for Monday night and ready to go. I hope that's the case because he is going to do a lot of good for them. He's been missing is that red zone target, and I think they're going to be looking his way right away come Monday night. There you have it, Headliner Nation. My tight end start and sit analysis for week 12. I got to roll on out of here, though, because I got rankings to do, too, to get you all updated. I got to keep doing the research and got to get everybody ready for Thursday. We have 3 games throughout the day, so we got to have everything out by Wednesday night. We appreciate you all tuning in this week. Hopefully everyone has a great Thanksgiving, enjoys the football, gets some dubs, enjoys your family, friends, whatever you're doing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners.
I'm a headliner.